Hello and welcome to the 10th, 11th, whatever episode. I'm here with Lily Nyland, if she wants to introduce herself.
Yeah. Hey, Connor. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited to be here. Like you said, my name is Lily Nyland. I'm serving this year as the National FFA Secretary. Super honored to be here and chat through whatever we have on the docket.
Yes. So, um, you are from Michigan, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yep, from Michigan.
Uh, which part of Michigan? Because I am horrible with geography and
No, you're so good. Me too. Okay, so as a Michigander, I'm gonna use the little hand. I don't know if
the
uh,
little mitten.
viewers can like see it
Yeah,
or not.
yeah.
Yes. But I'm over here on the west side, so like in the
Okay.
middle on the west side, right on the lake shore. Yeah, a little town called Holland. So that's where I'm at.
And you guys have like this little tulip festival, if I recall?
Yes. Okay, you did your research. Holland is very known for their tulip festival. A lot of people that live in Holland originated from the Netherlands, and so we have like a super strong Dutch culture. And every year we have this tulip festival where millions of tulips are planted downtown. And a lot of people come from across the world to see it, but it's a big kind of like tulip slash Dutch celebration. It's definitely one of my favorite times of the year. So if you have a chance, come visit.
Well, I live pretty far away from Michigan,
Yeah.
relatively, but if
What
I'm
part of Kentucky are you in?
I'm in central Kentucky, so
Okay,
I live where all the horses are. So
there you go. I love it.
yeah, so the first question I usually like to ask is
Yeah,
how'd you get started in FFA? I know you started later than most people. You started in
yeah.
your junior year, so can you like walk me through like how that is? Because most people start, when they're a freshman or a sophomore when they first get into high school.
Right, exactly right. So it looks a little bit different for me, like you said. My high school that I attended was Zeeland West High School, and Zeeland West didn't actually have an agriculture program. So we had this career and technical education center called the Career Line Tech Center that was available for juniors and seniors to attend. So this looks like your junior year, you could sign up for a career and technical education program, pick one of them, and then for 2 hours a day, mine was during the morning, but you could go and learn these skills, and then the rest of the day would be back at your local high school. And so as a sophomore getting ready to pick my junior year classes, I knew that I wanted to go to the tech center, just because I heard all the opportunity and benefits that my friends have had over the years of going. And so it was just a question of, okay, what program? And so I talked to a lot of people, and I had signed up for the CNA program, which was a healthcare medical field program. And before we started, our school bussed us over to the tech center, and it was like our orientation day. So we got to learn about the classes and everything. And I got back on the bus and I sat next to one of my very best friends, Grace Nichols. And Grace was signed up for the agriculture animal science class. And Grace and I had been showing animals for a while through 4-H. And so she knows how much I love agriculture. And sitting next to Grace, she was like, Lily, this orientation day was so fun learning about the ag class. Like, I can't wait for next year. I think you should join me. And I was like, Grace, I don't really know. Like, I'm a very futuristic thinking gal. And so I'm like, I don't really know what careers I could have in agriculture. Not sure. Well, over the next couple of weeks, Grace convinced me to join the agriculture class. And so, very last minute, I joined and switch over. And let me tell you, best switch up of my life. I got involved then in the agriculture class and didn't even know anything about FFA, but just jumped in because my bestie was in the class. And it's history from then. I got involved, and my advisor pushed me to do FFA. In Michigan, we're affiliated, so automatically you're an FFA member, and just kind of took off there.
Yeah, that's actually really cool because my chapter that I'm a part of, Locust
Mhm.
Trace, we are also a career and technical center, but
Okay,
instead of like having multiple, ours is fully dedicated to agriculture, which
that's
is
awesome.
yeah. So it's always cool to hear stuff like that because
Yes, I love tech center
yeah,
people. It's such a good opportunity. So, do you have other schools filtered in there?
yes. So
Okay,
pretty much all the schools, all the public schools that are available to come
yeah,
to Locust Race. So and it's not just like the like big schools, I guess, but we also have because we actually have some public schools for people who have like special needs or special education people. Those
Okay.
kids can actually still come to Locust Trace if they want to apply. So it's open to anyone in the public district when they get into their. So we take freshmen, sophomores, and juniors to come
Yeah.
to Locust Trace, and it's pretty fun.
That's so cool. Oh, I love that I found a tech
Yeah,
center
and
friend.
we actually have two tech centers. One is dedicated to agriculture, that being the one
Okay.
that I go to, and then the other one
Yep.
is far more miscellaneous. I guess it's mainly about like trade stuff, and stuff like
Okay.
that. But there's like automotive, cooking, aviation. So they have an entire program for like flying and stuff. I don't really know
That's
how that
cool.
works, but yeah, it's very cool.
That's awesome. I love career and technical
Yes,
education, so it's a
it's the
great
best type
place
of
to be.
education.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So as you were saying, you got started in your junior year. Your advisor kind of pushed you into it, and your friends. But um,
Mhm.
did you ever think that you would be uh where you are now? I guess for lack of a better term, like traveling all over the world, going to Japan, traveling all over the United States, going to like I forgot what states you're going for the
No,
state
you're good.
conventions, but I know Kentucky was one of them.
Yep, coming to Kentucky. Well, to be really honest with you, Connor, no, I never would have expected it to lead me down this path. I mean, when I first joined FFA, or agriculture education, I was very hesitant because I'm like, I don't really know where this is going to lead me. I didn't even know what FFA was. And I remember the first time a state officer came to visit our chapter, and I was just like, who are these people? What are they wearing? I had no idea. And so to look back and where I'm at and the journey that it took to get here, I'm amazed and humbled that I get this opportunity to, like you said, travel around the country and meet members and inspire members as well. So what a journey it's been, and I'm eternally grateful to be here. But it also is a testament and a message I like to share with members is like shoot for the stars and go for your goals because it is possible. And even though it might feel like a stretch and you might feel like you never get there, I truly believe that each and every member can achieve whatever they put their mind to. So keep going.
Yeah. What was so like you said, shooting for the stars, but has there ever been like a moment where you think you've maybe gone in over your head, and not even like particularly in FFA or agriculture, but just like in general, like maybe applying for a position at a job that you probably weren't ready for, or
Mm,
not studying enough for a test, like assuming that you're gonna get it right, and then it not.
yeah, like second guessing
Yeah,
myself.
not
Um,
even just second guessing, but like you know overestimating or maybe like chomping off a bit too much, having too much on your plate.
mhm, yeah. Um, I think that's a very good question and something that probably a lot of FFA members struggle with because we know we can load our plates super full. I probably think to my senior year, I just had a lot of things on my plate. I was in prepared public speaking at state convention and also running for state office, and I was just involved in every single CDE I could attend. And so, while those are all good things, there's just a little too much on my plate, and it got to a point where um, I was really relying on my performance to like keep me going. Whereas I believe that we need to rely on being our authentic selves and who we are created to be. And so I kind of lost that for a moment. And a message I just would have for FFA members is like, it's awesome to get involved, but remember to always pace yourself and put being your authentic self the number one priority in your life. And so I think it's really important to like pick those contests that you're passionate about or pick those things that you're passionate about because like that will be something that in turn will fill your cup rather than drain your cup. And so I've definitely been there where my plate's been too full. I'm sure a lot of FFA members have been there too.
Yeah,
And so a piece of advice I would say is just like continue being your authentic self first and then pour your time and effort into things that you're truly passionate about.
yeah, and stuff like you know things that I've like struggled with, or some of my friends that are in FFA,
Yeah.
like they're so passionate about FFA and they want to do so much that they end up. So like one of my friends last year, she tried to like write like five different speeches um
Wow.
uh that and she realized very quickly that as much as he like loved doing it, she can't put all of her effort into like one exact thing. So she wasn't
Right.
exactly satisfied with all the other ones the way she
Yeah.
wanted. And so just like, not stretching yourself out too much is very simple yet very, very effective advice.
Yes, no, it really is. And it's hard. It's a balance. I truly believe that life is a game of balance. And so pushing yourself is definitely important and just going after something and trying something is really important. So I do encourage members to stretch themselves in that way. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we're staying afloat as humans.
Yeah. So you have recently just got back from Japan. So
Hmm.
I do actually want to ask a little bit about that.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
how was Japan? And I guess the very like very straightforward way of asking.
No, that's so good. I did just come back yesterday, and so to be honest, I'm still a little bit jet lagged, but it's okay. Still worth it. Japan was amazing. And there's a couple key takeaways. I mean, I can still tell stories for hours, but a couple key takeaways that I realized. Number one is just, and boy, do I love agriculture and what a cool industry that we get to be a part of because there are students all the way across the entire globe that have the same perspectives and passion for agriculture as we do. And even though we had a language barrier, we knew that together we were trying to advocate for truth in the agriculture industry, help educate people about agriculture, and help continue to make it the number one industry in the world. And so it was just so cool. For my team and I to experience that and that truly the love and the values that come from agriculture really can unite us. And so that was really cool. And as FFA members, you can meet somebody from across the country. I mean, maybe even as a state officer going to ILSSO or whatever, people across the globe. And so just to realize how special this industry is and that we get to be so united through it is incredibly important and interesting. Another realization is really cool about Japanese culture is that their culture is so respectful and honoring to others, but also, which is super important, and I love that. But also, they find joy in simply the smallest things, which I loved. We went to this one school that has Future Farmers of Japan members. And so it's kind of like our sister organization in Japan. And these members grew a rice field and they took half of their harvest from the past year and they made this thing called mochi. Have you ever heard of
Yes,
mochi?
yes, I'm very
Okay,
yes.
you like it.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. It's an acquired taste, but pretty much, it's mashed up rice, that they put flavoring in, and so yeah, really cool. But they took half of their harvest from this past year, put it in this little, big-ish wooden bowl, and then mashed it up until it was like kind of this sticky. I mean, you know what it's like,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
this sticky-ish substance. But we were outside. It was freezing cold. It was extremely hard work to take this wooden mallet and like keep mashing it up. But these students found so much joy in it. I mean, the laughter, the comments, the giggling, and the smiles on everybody's face while we were doing this hard task was so inspirational because it helped me take a step back and think like how we can find joy is truly from the people we surround ourselves in for the passion that we have for the things that we're doing and agriculture. And so it was just really cool to see that and think about coming back to the United States. Like, what would our life look like if we could find joy from those small moments? And so, yeah, I saw a quote the other day and it said, the amount of good things in your life is determined by your ability to see them. And I think of those FFJ members and the fact that they really saw the good things, no matter how cold it was, how hard it was to
Yeah.
hammer down that mochi a million times. But those were two really cool things that came out of Japan. It's their love for agriculture and their joy for the small things.
Yeah, and I I just think it's so cool to like have to see like different perspectives from like across the country.
Yeah,
Like excuse me. I was asking
you're good.
Matthew Estes, one of the Kentucky State officers. He went to Spain for ISSO
Yes,
this
very
year.
recently.
Yes, very recently. And he said something very similar that like all the people that he met for like agriculture, they all had like the same exact like perspective. Like even though they couldn't
Yes.
have the same like language barrier, like speaking entirely different languages, still had that understanding of the love of agriculture and the love of like farming and just food in
Right.
general. Like in that, like finding joy in everything that you do means I love
Yeah.
finding joy in everything that I do. Like,
That's phenomenal.
yeah,
That'll get you far.
yeah. So,
Oh, that's so cool.
this is a bit of a non-agricultural related question, but still kind of a
Yeah.
question about, I guess, things in FFA. So,
Yeah.
what year of college are you going to that you are in or supposed to be in relatively?
hmm
So,
So, something a little different about me is I'm actually not in college yet. And so, um, I took a gap year while I served as a state officer, and I worked full time for my SIE. So my SIE was working at a local turkey operation. I started boots on the ground working there, and then worked my way up into more like communications and research. And I continued to do that as a state officer. And then I actually ran for national office right after I got out of a state office. So I continued working there. First time I didn't get national office, and then but I just continued working. um, I started a local homeschool program for students to get agriculture education. And then, yeah, I ran again. And obviously, here I am. So, to be honest with you, I haven't started college yet. Um, and I'm not sure where I'll be going after national office. Hopefully, it is college, but we'll see. We'll see what happens and what doors open. But I'm really passionate about agricultural communications. And so I'd love to go study that. But when I get done with national office, I will be a freshman.
yeah. So that kind of ruined a question, but don't worry about it.
That's okay.
So how has, I guess, so you worked in the turkey industry, right? So working with
Yes.
poultry. So
Mhm.
with running that agriculture communications, was there like ever a time that like maybe it like so around the Thanksgiving time,
Yeah.
everyone's buying turkeys, everyone's wanting a turkey. Do you think
Yep.
there was ever a time that like at least that you've noticed that like maybe the communication has like slowly broken down when it becomes slightly more hectic in those like times of high need or high
Mm.
demand?
Like, times when communication can be weak, is that what
Yeah,
you're getting at?
yeah. Like
Okay.
it's like broken down where like um you may not be able to like get across like certain orders, like someone orders this, this and this, like mistakes
Mm.
that would have been avoidable if like things weren't being so rushed or hectic.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, Connor, it's kind of funny. I always thought that during Thanksgiving that we'd produce a lot more turkeys, but honestly, it's consistent throughout the entire year. So we produce the same amount of turkey all year long. But I think there's always barriers in communication, right? And that is a struggle for farmers, and that is something that FFA members can help with. Um, these farmers that work so hard on these farms daily, it's hard for them to keep up with the farm and on top of that, communicate the message to the world about like what's really happening in agriculture and to share truth to consumers. And so I would say that like the demands of the industry make it hard to communicate. And that's why we need FFA members to go and not only know about agriculture, but communicate about it accurately. Um, so yeah, I think it was cool for me to realize the importance of communication, and that love for AgCom really stemmed from my turkey days because I started working boots on the ground and seeing the behind the scenes of like where our food really comes from, and then sitting down at it's actually during Thanksgiving, but I'm sitting down at the table with my family, and my family starts making comments about the food that was provided and how they think it was raised or like some of the misconceptions people have, and it made me take a step back and realize, like, I'm seeing this, like, happening in real life, and that a lot of consumers, it's really not their fault, but it's just the fact that we don't have enough communicators out there telling what's truly going on in agriculture. And so that was where I was like, I want to be somebody who continues to advocate for that industry. And I love that that's on the hearts of FFA members too. And so um, I think that in FFA, we want everybody to go into a career in agriculture. Even more importantly than that, we want FFA members to be informed consumers so they know how to advocate for a turkey sitting on the
Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner table.
Yeah, that's something that one of my 8 advisors, Mr.
Oh,
Ashcraft.
wow.
Yeah. Um,
That's awesome.
Mr. Ashcraft, he So he has background in like raising livestock. He's
Mhm.
from Bourbon County, Kentucky, which is about a bit south of Fayette County, which is where I'm from. So he has
Okay.
experience in raising cattle and raising food. So it's something that we have on our school like property. We have basically a farm, so we
That's
do have
awesome.
livestock and we do have horses and cattle and pigs and chickens and goats.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
yeah, and something that he always wants people to do is to be an informed consumer. Like he knows
Yes.
that, especially because we're in an urban environment and most people in our chapter haven't had really, I guess, a like traditional agriculture background. Like I personally can only think
Mhm.
of two people, um, members who were, that being Riley
Yeah.
Hutchinson, our current vice president, and Caroline Groth, and
Okay.
uh, she went pretty far, I guess. But
Yeah.
I always love bragging about that. Not just
No, that is
yeah,
super cool. Yeah. Caroline's amazing.
yeah,
That's cool that you got to have somebody from your chapter.
yeah, and but just seeing that idea of like, because he knows that most people that he teaches, like most of the kids, even though they may
Mhm.
be like passionate or like love agriculture, probably not going to go into it just because that might not exactly be what they want to do. They have like passions
Right.
elsewhere, but being able to go to the store and not turned away by GMOs, or not like being able to know like what specific cuts of a beef are, or knowing
Right.
exactly where their beef comes from, or know how it's processed, or know exactly how they like want their beef done, to know signs of like good food, bad food, being able to go to into a farmer's market and be like knowing the worth pretty much. And
Yeah. 100%. I mean, yeah, we need that truth. And FFA can benefit not only being an informed consumer, like my friend Grace that I talked about earlier, like now she's actually in the healthcare field, but she still reaps the benefits of like the public speaking experience
mm-hmm.
that she got. And um, I can remember a story like when we put steaks on the grill one time, we did meats judging together. And so we can sit there and be like, how would you rank this class? And it's so funny because it's just a friend hangout, but it really sticks with you and it's so important to have that truth. So I love that you're doing that even in your chapter.
Yeah,
Shout out to your advisor.
yeah, Mr. Ashcraft. But yeah, I just, and just having, which brings me to another thing of just that like strong. I think the special thing to me about FFA, and about it, is kind of the fact that no other organization, I guess, in the same way, has teachers who experienced it the same way, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
most advisors were FFA members at some point in their life. So a lot of them understand it. Like, they understand,
Mhm.
like, the stress or maybe the expectations that you might put on yourself, but that also can help you. Like, one of my teachers, Miss Thompson, I've talked about this before a lot, but she recently, before everything has gone to snow and ice down here,
Yeah.
because the ice is about like 3 inches thick. Uh,
Yep, I get it.
she loves to hold these like little after school activities, not even activities, but like after school events where students who are like competing in speech contests, so like writing
Mhm.
or giving speeches, they can stay after school or come back after they leave for the day and just
Mhm.
work on their speeches with Miss Thompson, or practice giving the speeches in front of her, and then her being able to give that like direct feedback to them, and just being able to like help them along through that process.
Mhm.
So
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Mm-hmm.
My advisor did the same thing, and that's so impactful. But I agree. We need to celebrate our advisors because they truly make it all happen. But that's really cool.
So can you, like, this is a very, I guess, probably something you've heard before, and just a very, yeah, kind of a question,
You're
but
good. You're good.
has there ever been like, I guess, a role model in your life that like
Mhm.
pushed you beyond you thought you could actually, bring yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I've had a couple really impactful people, but I guess leading off our talk about advisors, she was kind of an advisor to me, but really a close friend and mentor. Our state executive secretary, Dr. Tiffany Rogers Randolph, is one that really helped me throughout the process. But she, after I was a state officer and everything, she was kind of our mentor through that process. She sat me down in her office one day and she was like, "So you're about to retire from state office. Like, what's next?" And I was like, "Oh, like brainstormed a couple things with her about jobs and colleges." And she's like, "Well, Lily, have you ever thought about national office?" And to be honest, it was kind of in the back of my mind, but it was the first time somebody ever um, was like, "You should go for this," or like encourage me, or even like open that door of possibility. And so she's been so special to me and a role model to me. And throughout running for state or national office, we've met countless times every week, and she's just been a mentor for me in that. And I think it goes back to what you said about advisors. Like, they have so much knowledge and a lot of experience, but truly at the end of the day, they can be some of our closest friends. And so I just really appreciate Dr. R, is what we call her, Dr. R, for sitting on Zooms every week with me, sitting me down in her office and just opening the door to that possibility, because she's one of the first people that believed in me and pushed me to do that. And so, yeah, for FFA members, shout out to your advisor. Listen to them. They're very wise. And I'm just forever grateful for that role model.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me, I guess, in a bit of a way. So, like you said, state office. Was there ever like a time like after you got into state office that it kind of, and I guess this also goes for national office, but what was that like one time that you kind of, it kind of felt real because, or like
Mm.
members started like not seeing you necessarily different, but seeing you as a state officer as a first time, and how did that feel? And then I guess again for
Mm.
national office.
Yeah, good question. I'm trying to think back to state office. Um, I think after national, so Michigan is interesting. I know Kentucky is my last convention that I'll go to, so it's a little bit
Yeah,
farther in the summer.
it's in
But
June.
for Michigan, it's kind of a unique process because our state convention is actually our halfway mark of being a state officer. So we don't technically retire at convention. But I remember after state convention, I had a member direct message me that, to be honest, I've never met before. But she just texted me a very encouraging message and like said like, "Oh, it was so inspiring to see somebody like just like me up there." And like, I have a very like bubbly personality, and so she called that out. And to be honest, sometimes I can be a little self-conscious about myself. I mean, I chatted about authenticity, but it's something I've struggled with. And I felt like on that stage when I was a state officer doing my speech or sessions or whatever, um I was staying very authentic and bubbly in myself. And I wondered if anybody would like, I don't know. I tried to stay true to myself, but I was like, it's always hard to put your authentic self out there, right? Like,
Yeah.
everybody has doubts. And so I had doubts about that. But this member was like, that was so inspirational to me. And for me, it was just like, man, I was just being myself. But it was like a step back of being like, wow, when we're ourselves, like we can be inspirational to other people who are exactly like that. And so from that moment on, I really had a mission and continue how to have a mission of like being my authentic self. So it also gives other permissions to be their authentic selves, because we need everybody to be their authentic selves. They have their specific purpose and calling and who they were created to be. And so I think that's so important. But that was a moment for me. I stepped back and I was like, man, I am just somebody being myself, but like how cool it is that we can inspire others through our authenticity. Um, a second time during national office, to answer that question, um, to be honest, we've gone to a couple chapter visits. We've gone to Japan, but being on the road really starts during National FFA week. But I do remember the night I got elected. We went through a whole bunch of
Yeah.
process and reception, right? It's a crazy night, but we get a little time to go out to eat with our families. And so we picked this restaurant with my family and I. I'm newly elected. My world is spinning. And I sit down on the table, and other FFA members were also in this restaurant. And they all kind of like looked at me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like, hi, Lily, whatever." And it was very shocking for me because I was like, how do they know me? Like, for me, and I talked to Amira Jackson, president, 2 years ago about this, but she was like, members will come up to me and be so in awe of me, but honestly, like, I'm just Amira. And like for me, I'm just Lily, right? And like for members to see me and like be really excited to meet me. I'm equally as excited to meet you. But honestly, I'm just a human. I'm just Lily. And so I'm excited to meet people just as Lily and to encourage them to just be themselves as well. But that was a very shocking moment to me where I was like, wow, like there's a lot of members who are excited to see me, but I'm equally as excited to see them and just be humans together.
Yeah. And that is actually, you kind of hit the nail on the head, I guess. But
Hmm.
so something that the reason why I started this little essay thing was for that exact
Yeah.
purpose, to show like, hey, they're actually people. Because
Yes.
like you can go and meet up, they have uh like very similar stories, and like are so similar to the rest of us. They were members at some point. Yes, they're in high position,
Right.
and I guess maybe they're more recognizable because of, they're in national office, but they were members at some point too. And you know I started that because like meeting Thaddeus Berschneider at Kentucky during the summer,
Hmm.
for a few of the weeks, in Hardinsburg. We have this little camp for FFA, so a bunch of chapters from all across the state,
Yeah.
for a few weeks, like bring their officers or people that they choose, or like growing in their future leaders, bring them in,
Hmm.
like, you know they go over leadership, like officer stuff, and like, I guess, how to be a better leader. And all the counselors were our ag education majors from local colleges, so
Hmm.
they're like getting their little toes dipped into,
There you go.
teaching. And the
Yep.
state officers are there, and along with the state officers, the week that I went, Thaddeus Berschneider was there, which was a bit of a, I guess, culture shock to me, because
Yeah.
excuse me, I saw him the year before getting elected on the national stage, and I saw that, and it like threw me for a tailspin, because it was just him walking in like regular. For most of the time, he was just a regular camper, like
Yeah.
I was, and just being like, wow.
Yeah.
I guess they are
I
kind of
think
like more kind of like us, and yeah,
yeah. No, that's so cool, Connor. I appreciate your message behind that because you're so right. Even though a state or national officer, it could be really cool or impressive that they're in that role or they've had a lot of good experience and wisdom that they're excited to share. Like we're all just people. I've made human mistakes before. I made human mistakes in national office. We all make human mistakes. It's the number one thing that we have in common with each other. And so just leaning into that, I think that's where human connection comes from. And that's the most beautiful thing. But yeah, as an FFA member, come chat with me. I'm
yeah,
equally excited to listen to you. And I'm so glad that you reached out and we can have conversations like
yeah.
this.
And
That's cool.
I love building connections. Like, I've gotten to know our state officers, and they've actually become pretty
Hmm.
good friends of mine, just by
That's so
like
sweet.
reaching out, and I found so much in common. Like, actually, a lot
Yeah.
of them are in Lexington, because UK, the college, has a very big ag program, and a lot of the
Yep.
state officers go here. So I've gotten to like chat about UK sports. I've Matthew Estes, we're both pretty big football fans and sports fans, so we've
There you go.
like bonded over that, and just being able to build connections. Like, you're in Michigan.
Yep.
I'm sure you have some interest in the lakes or connection.
Yes, I do. I
Yep,
love our Great Lakes.
I love the Great Lakes too. Like, there's
There you go.
like some of my family members, they live in Buffalo, and they live near Lake Erie, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Yep, they live like pretty much on Lake Erie. I've always loved the Great Lakes, and I've always wanted to go to Michigan to see just
Yes.
like all the lakes.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. It is super beautiful, but
Yeah.
that is cool, right? Like, and even across the country, like having people that you have something in common with and can build friendships with. One of my very best friends, Maze Guza, she's on my state officer team. She lives all the way in the thumb. So we literally live on opposite
Yeah.
sides of our state. It takes hours to get there, but like she's one of my besties and we have so many things in common. And I think that's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And another question about like a bit about national office, like, when did it feel real, or does it even feel real yet?
Yeah, good question. Um, I feel like my teammates and I mean, we just had it in Japan, but like we have little moments where we're like, whoa, is this real life? So it still is like not real life. And I was chatting with I think it was like Mary or Luke from the last team, but they're like, there will be days when we're like 40 years old and still think, wow, I was a national officer because it's just such an honor and privilege. Um, so yeah, it doesn't really feel real, but at times, like there's certain things like moments when we get our states. I remember was one of the most impactful moments so far because I'm just so excited. Like then it becomes real and it's like, wow, I'm gonna meet members like Connor from
Yeah,
Kentucky, and get to see them. And that's the moment where it feels real and that I'm just excited. Like this is an avenue where we can continue to connect as FFA members, and that's just the moments I get so excited.
yeah, and just that like when you're like 40 or so and just being like, whoa, in my
Mhm.
early 20s, I got to pretty much see the country pretty much
Yeah,
and see
yeah,
other countries.
right. But like I met with I think it was a person we went to go visit TSC, and there were people that were in FFA that are like now grown in their careers. But I mean, they have the same experience, right? And they're like, wow, the opportunities and lessons and the skills that I got from FFA, like I never thought that was possible. And they're still sitting there thinking that. And so, like, as FFA members, when we look back on our time in FFA, we're going to be amazed. But I think that's also a great opportunity to like stay involved, and that when your time in FFA outside of the blue jacket is done, like you still have the opportunity to be a part of it as an alumni member or supporter or
Yeah.
whatever. So it keeps going, but it definitely is hard to be like, wow, this is real.
Luckily, I'm somewhat far away from that, so
There you go. Good. What year are you in?
I'm a sophomore in
Okay, very good.
high school. Yeah, so I'm
Soak up
still,
that time. That's
but
good.
I've been in it since sixth grade, so
Okay.
yeah,
You've had a long
yeah.
time. That's so sweet.
And my one of the former state officers, I actually interviewed her recently,
Hmm.
Amelia Tucker, and she was talking about that with me about like the like how to her like I guess what she's gained from FFA and like how great FFA was for her didn't fully hit until she became an alumni, and then it became so much sweeter because she was an alumni and she was able to help people who are currently in it
Yeah.
experience it just as great as she did. And that like because I think because everyone at FFA we're all very young relatively, like we're still in the very early parts of our lives, and
Definitely.
I think we don't fully understand the impact that this has on us and the people around us
Hmm.
until
Hmm.
we see that impact. And I
Right.
just, and that's why it's always good to like you said, do stuff with joy in every single thing that you do, because
Right.
if you're if you find joy in every single thing, you find joy in bringing joy to others, you can do so much. Like
Yeah.
you're doing right here. You are a national officer. Um, and I don't think when you found out what that was, you'd ever think you'd be one.
Right. Yeah, I know. But it's like finding those little moments along the way. And yeah, I agree
Yeah.
completely.
So when I guess um when this is all like actually never mind, scratch that. So what I
You're
guess
good.
has been like one of the like as much as it's like very cool to be a national officer, like what is I think what has for you been like the hardest part? Like what has been the thing of like yes, it's amazing, but also there's slight struggles.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. While I was deciding to run, especially second time for national office, and like anybody considering running for an office, it's really important to think through, um, like all think through the full process, right? Because they're in national office, in any office, honestly, in any leadership position, there are really high highs. There are also really low lows. And if it's not for you, that's okay. If it is, that's great. But having a game plan going into it is really important. Um, I think it's taught me these first 2 or 3 months ish have taught me a lot about like simply my personal life and like the person who I am. Because now being like going and spreading messages. Like, you have the opportunity to spread the message to a lot of FFA members, and so really trying to get to the core of like, okay, what is the message or legacy that I want to leave is something that's so important to think of through every single process. And um, defining that, like, knowing that sorry, when I look back and think like, what how will I know that I was like successful or that I fulfilled my duty? It's really important to like set a goal for that. And so like, just a piece of advice is like, as a FFA members, whether it's a leadership role, whether it's a contest, whether it's a conversation, define success in your own mind and think, okay, what will make me successful? And some days as the national officer, that means delivering a speech. Some days that means having impactful conversations, but trying to think every single day, like, what can I be doing to be my best? What can I be doing to be successful? Because every day has been different. And so it's hard to like put one concrete, like, okay, I'm going to do this every single day. If that makes sense. It's kind
Yeah.
of all over the place. But I guess leading into that, also the schedule. It's just very demanding at times, and it's hard to juggle like being able to connect back with my family. I mean, I've been gone for a month and I have 2 days home, and so like it's hard to like connect back. I mean, you kind of put your life on pause for a day, but also doing those little things to fill your bucket. And so like we I think we chatted about this earlier, but like life is all a game of balance, and
Mm-hmm.
during national office it is a huge game of balance.
Yeah. And something like, and I, you know, being away from your family for that long, like, is just, I guess a bit of a, it's a struggle. It's going to be a struggle for anyone, right?
Mm,
And
yeah.
that, like, but always having, and I think having like a good, like, place and friends, like, which is why I love the
Mhm.
internet. And I love, like, the like,
Yeah.
intercommunication of the world is that, like, and I'm sure this must have been so much worse for way past officers. So I'm glad that you guys don't have to experience that. But like,
Mm,
uh, going months without even being able to like talk to them, like, in any
mhm.
way, is,
Yeah.
and yeah, just like, families, seeing your family's pretty cool.
Yes, I'm definitely thankful for social media and the phone. As much as I try not to be on it too
Yeah.
much, it is a helpful tool. And also staying connected. I guess one thing I miss is like, my teammates are amazing people. I love them so dearly, but it's a very unique experience because like the six of us are the only people who really know what this experience is going to be like. And so, um, it's important to rely on your team members that are going through the same things. And so like the friendships that we're going to build from that, um and also right, finding the little joy in the little moments, because there can be times where I'm like, dang, it would be nice to like go home and see my brothers, but finding the joy in the little moments, like we have the privilege of traveling all these different places and finding home and finding a family with each place that we travel to. And so there's no doubt that, like we talked about, we can all find something in common and build that human connection. And so I'm excited this year to find family in different places and all across the country. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are, I forgot it, but what are the state conventions that you're going to this year?
hmm Well, let me pull up my list so I don't forget any of them. Let's see. Okay, so for FFA week, I am going to the eastern side. I'll be going to Maine, Massachusetts, and Vermont. And then I'll head to Michigan Convention is going to be my first one. So super excited to go back home. And then some other ones I'll be going to Rhode Island, Wyoming, Arizona. California will be my second convention. Minnesota, and then I'll get to go to Puerto Rico, which I'm really excited. I'm bilingual in Spanish, so I'll get to speak with members in
Yes.
Spanish. And then obviously Kentucky is my last one.
Woo!
I'm excited. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
good time.
I've always found it so funny that, like, because I didn't realize that we do ours so late, relatively to others,
Yeah,
because ours is like is June 6th, so we're all out of school by that point.
right, right.
So it's,
It's very interesting, and I'm really excited to see all the different ways different states do
yeah,
things because we're all very different. I mean, fundamentally we're the same, but
yeah.
like there's a lot of really different things. So that's gonna be exciting.
So actually, that brings me to one of my next questions. So thank
Yes.
you for doing that transition
Yes.
better. But what, I guess, makes Michigan the Michigan Association, like what
Mm,
makes it special? Like Liam Wade, the current vice president for Alaska, he says um, the like interconnectedness because there's 500 people
mhm.
in the association, just having that like interconnectedness, like being able to getting to know all those members as well as he can because there's only 500. And then Massimiliano said something very similar about Connecticut. So what makes uh,
Mm,
Michigan?
yeah. I mean, for me, I love like it's home. It's home for me. Like it's the place where I found my connection to people across the state. And I feel like I can say something super similar. Quick question. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe you know, maybe you don't. Is Kentucky affiliated?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so good. So you know it too. Like, it's really cool, like as a state officer, to go around the state and see all these people that are also FFA members, and also in agriculture education. And so that's been really sweet. But I feel like at every level of leadership, chapter, regional, state, national, I've had different experiences with the community, and they all mean something different to me. But being at the state office level and connected in Michigan FFA just felt more like home than ever. Um, and so, like, I would agree. I mean, the connectedness that we have, the ability to like go to statewide events and see longtime friends that maybe we don't see every day or every week, but like being able to see those people that we've built a relationship without the years. Um, I also just think it's so cool because Michigan is very diverse in our agriculture. We're the second most diverse agricultural. My county is the second most diverse agricultural county in the nation, and so it's really
That's
cool.
really
And I
cool.
noticed as a state officer, yeah, I noticed as a state officer. So, like for example, where I live in Hull, Michigan, we have very sandy soils, and so like there's tons of blueberries where I'm at. But where my friend Mace is at in the thumb is like completely different than what it looks like over here. She does a lot of sugar beets and row crops, and the land is a lot flatter for miles. And so it's just so cool to see, like, even though at different parts of the state, I mean, oh, we also have like the Upper Peninsula. And so, like, that's extremely different from the Lower Peninsula. And just seeing the differences across the state and how much diversity there is, but also like that we all have the same love for agriculture and the same love for each other and the same love for FFA is so cool. And so, as a state officer, and even now, I cherish my home and my community more than ever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer my own question, I guess. But
Yes, tell
yeah,
me.
so for me, I think so. This is very specific, but Kentucky is a very weird state. It, just like because we have like our terrain is very odd. Like so I'm in central Kentucky, so we have very
Mhm.
so our bedrock is a nice like sheet of limestone. So
Okay.
Kentucky bluegrass is so it's very good for horses, which is
Hmm.
why like a majority of all racehorses, so thoroughbreds, come from like within like 50 miles of my house, pretty much like
Yeah. Oh,
just
that's
this like
cool.
one central area. So a lot of horses come here, but we have this horse country, and then but if you go out west, it's like a lot more row crops, a lot more like corn, wheat, just traditional that type of agriculture. But if you go
Mhm.
to the east towards the Appalachians, you see like a lot less of that, and it's more of like coal country and just like lots of Rockies, and there's
Mhm.
rocky terrain. And what I love is that something that's very specific, but something I love so much is just the diverse accents. I because
Yes.
so I'm from like an urban environment, so my
Yep.
accent is a lot more uh, less, if that makes sense. I
Hmm.
but if you go anywhere else, it's a very southern accent. So just
Ah, yes.
so
I
I
love that.
yeah, and I love hearing it because it's like yeah, this is such a diverse state like
Hmm.
um and that like is with our agriculture too, and just this diverse love of agriculture transcending across so many like such a large area, and
Yeah.
like the fact that we don't have just like one good agriculture college program, if that makes sense. Like,
Right?
um, we have so many. Like we have Moorhead, Murray, UK, WKU, EKU has a good pre-vet program.
Hmm.
Kentucky State, and just all these like colleges that like all of our state officers go to, and just like, and
Yeah.
I just that means a lot that like the passion for agriculture is not just in one centralized area; it's all over
Right.
the state.
Yeah. No, I think that's so cool. I think we're probably pretty similar because like
And
for
pink
me, I think it's
lemonade,
cool. And what?
pink lemonade.
Oh, are
So
y'all famous for pink lemonade?
so this is a very very specific reference that only people from Kentucky will understand. But
Okay.
so like that Kentucky FFA camp I was talking about, um,
Yep.
we have they serve this like famous, world famous. So by the world they mean like Kentucky
Yep.
FFA. They serve
Okay.
like the best pink lemonade I have ever
Oh,
tasted in my entire life. Like I don't know what they put in there. I don't know how it is made. I have no clue. But
that's so funny.
that like pink lemonade is just like whenever I think of Kentucky I think of that pink lemonade, and it's just like that's what I guess Kentucky FFA means to me.
That's awesome. Is this pink lemonade like just specifically at this Kentucky FFA camp, or is this like a Kentucky thing?
It just at that one camp.
Okay,
I have no clue. Like, but if you ask anyone who's gone to that camp, they'll be like, yeah, everyone
that's
like
so funny.
remembers it so I guess vividly. Um,
Yeah,
and like
that's so funny.
then that the camp is so much fun. I wish more people could experience it because we have these like
Yeah.
Olympic games, so people are
Okay.
like split up into these groups in these like color groups,
Yep.
um, which are run by the counselors who are ag ed majors, so they're about
Hmm.
to become like ag teachers, and they're like getting ready and it's like starting to learn about like becoming a teacher, and a lot of them are actually former uh, state officers
Hmm.
sometimes, and just that's really fun. And then just we have these like stupid like I guess games. So we have like the traditional like tug of war
Yep.
between color groups.
Good camp
We
games.
have a zero turn tractor driving competition of an obstacle
Okay.
course. Um, we
Yep.
have um, we have a swim race where like it's they just swim from side to side of our pool. So they have a pool,
Okay.
and then
Yep.
the cherry on top for the end of it is a cannonball competition.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
and then there's like these chapter games. So there's each chapter along with the color games at the end of the week, but the chapter games are kind of all throughout. So it's
Hmm.
there's water basketball, there's kickball, and there's volleyball, and these like tournaments of all the chapters. And
Yep.
then there's like the golden broomstick, which so whichever cabin is the cleanest. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and
they
there
get this golden.
and then uh, the stupidest tradition, but I love it so much, and it's just ingrained, and I don't know why, is the love letter writing. So um, this is so every year during the week, students will just I don't know when this started, but it's been here forever apparently. But the students will write like fake love letters to
Oh.
the state officers or like the counselors, and just like it's some of the most fun, and because the some like it's hilarious what they're able to come up with,
Oh
and
my.
and I think the best part for me about it is that they will sign it of like someone who didn't actually write it, and just the it's like what oh, and we also have a talent show, and that's usually amazing. But I
Yep.
remember uh this year that we went during 4th of July week, so there was fireworks and a bunch of stuff. But
Okay, yeah.
uh one of this chapter played a prank on their president, so they wrote one of those phony little love letters to Mr. Mitchum, who was the head like guy. He's like the head guy. He's really awesome. He's a former ag teacher, um, and he signed it with his name, so he had to like do the walk of shame up there
Oh
to
goodness.
collect it, and just dumb traditions, and just that it's the most fun of my life, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Oh, that's good. Well, that camp sounds absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
That, yeah. Well, I don't know I'll make it
yeah.
to the Kentucky FFA camp. This is kind of going back to the lemonade thing. I know I'm coming to Kentucky, so just a quick question. I've been there for vacation before, but is there anything in Kentucky you're like, when you're at Kentucky, you have to do this, or you have to try this?
Um, I can't. So, if I wanted to be funny, I would say fried chicken, but I feel like that's a bit of a farce. But for me, just you're not going to be any close to it, but if you ever get the chance at some point to explore Mammoth Cave or to see the horse farms, if you
Okay.
can,
I've
um,
been to Mammoth Cave before, but
yes,
I'm a horse gal, so I'm excited to
yes.
hopefully see
So,
some members with horse projects.
yes. So actually, the uh, state convention is in Lexington, so where I'm from, and
Yep.
so this is like prime horse country. So you can
Perfect.
see so many horses, just drive not so it's in downtown, but if you go a bit on the outskirts, you'll see
Mhm.
just miles and miles of horses.
Wow, that's exciting. I feel like what I was going to say earlier is like, I feel like Kentucky and Michigan are similar in the way of like the
Mm-hmm.
diversity. And so what I'm really excited for, and well, another reason I love Michigan is just like the diversity of SAEs that
Mm-hmm.
students have. And so in Kentucky, I'm really excited to see that diversity of like maybe they're in a horse farm or maybe they're in more row crops or like whatever it is. So I'm excited for that. In
Yeah.
Michigan, we have a lot of another thing, I'm just thinking of all the things that make us unique. We have a lot of like natural resources,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's cool to see like how members bring that to life. But I'm excited for Kentucky and to see the diversity of SAEs. And I've been to Mammoth Cave, but hopefully see
Yeah.
all the horses when I
Yeah.
get there.
So, as you, I guess, okay. So, what was your first ever SAE? Did you go straight into that turkey stuff, or I didn't notice that you were interested in vet science LDE, not
Hmm.
LDE CDE, but like,
Yep.
did you do anything with vet clinics, or like, how did you get like that foothold into? Okay, this is a two-part question, I guess. What was your
Yeah.
first SAE, and how did you get a foothold into the turkey industry?
Yeah. Good question. So, my first SAE was it kind of started through 4-H to be honest with you, but just showing livestock at my local fair. So I started showing, oh golly, I showed like everything, chickens and rabbits and dairy goats and horses, steers, pigs, all the things. So I kind of had like that diversified livestock production. And then as our hobby farm grew, my family started growing hay. So we just have a small 30 acres of growing hay, but that was kind of like a fun little business I could do with my family and brothers. And so we sell a lot of hay. We still do. My brother's loading up round bales to take away tomorrow. So that's kind of like my first SAEs. And then my senior year, so my second year in FFA, it was a requirement for our class to have a co-op position. So like a placement SAE where we really worked boots on the ground. And so I started working at a feed mill, which was an SAE for a while, but I was chatting with one of the alumni from my chapter and I was like, man, I really don't know what I want my job to be. The feed mill is just like not working out with like the distance it is away from my house and everything. And her name is Riley. And Riley mentioned to me, man, I worked at this turkey farm and it was just a really great experience. And it was another one of those hesitant Lily
Yeah,
moments. I was like, man, poultry is really not my favorite like type of livestock. I don't know, but Riley was like, trust me, it'll be phenomenal. And so I started at this turkey operation and poultry wasn't my favorite thing, but the thing that I love about it is the community that I found there, the things I learned about the agriculture industry altogether. I mean, it gave me my passion for ag com and the poultry industry is really interesting. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it. And so, yeah, that's how I kind of got involved with that placement at the turkey farm.
yeah. So I get this totally unrelated. So, but um, so are there any middle school FFA chapters in Michigan that you know of?
Yes, so there is quite a few. We do have a lot of tech centers, which I think is kind of unique for Michigan as well, because I know that not every state has a lot of tech centers, and quite a few of our chapters are tech centers. So that's cool that it still gives members the opportunity, even if their schools don't have ag programs, that they can go somewhere else. But there definitely is a lot of chapters that still have middle school membership. So
Yeah. So, so something that I'm very passionate about, one of the many things, God, but something that I'm super passionate about is that middle school FFA in agriculture involvement, because
yeah, you were
that's,
there.
yeah, I was there. That's how I got involved. And I don't think I would have ever gotten involved in agriculture if I didn't have that. Like,
Okay.
because I'm not from a traditional agriculture background.
Hmm.
Before sixth grade, before I got into it, I thought agriculture was just farming. Come to find out,
Right.
it is so much more than that. As I
Exactly.
have learned very quickly on my own and just through the education. But I was put in this like agriculture class because as like sixth graders, they were like I assume that everyone has made the decision that sixth graders don't know what they want, and I assume that they're right because we don't. Well, at least I didn't. But so they
Yeah.
put me in this agriculture class for sixth graders, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna hate this. I want to transfer out. So I was like, Mom, I don't want to do this. I don't want to learn about farming or whatever. I said. Come to find out, as soon as I walk in there and we go over the syllabus and I meet the teacher, it's like, oh, I like this. Oh no. And I fell in love from day one, and I just like fell in love with it so quickly, and just
Hmm.
having that like early exposure to it like meant a lot. And because um I think so something that I think hurts a lot of FA membership just like early on is that so when you're a freshman and when you're first for most people when they get involved in FFA who don't have middle school chapters, there's just kind of like this attitude that I call the freshman mentality of
Mm.
just not wanting to do anything just because you went from being the big honcho of the eighth grade to being this uh, baby in comparison to the people
The
around
transition
the
for sure.
super big transition. You're like, most people are like, I don't really want to do anything, I just want to not be involved. And I think uh, that like mentality that teenagers go through because they're teenagers not wanting to be involved in anything or do anything but sleep and eat as we but just so and middle schoolers are a lot more absorbent, for lack of a better term, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
they're sixth graders are glorified fifth graders, or fifth graders who are slightly older. They're still at their heart, they're still very much so in elementary school. Um, so they're a lot more, I guess, open to new ideas and open to like education, if that makes sense. So having these students getting involved early at like sixth or seventh grade, just being able to like I guess introduce them to agriculture is just super important because
Mhm.
eight. So I give tours for Locust Race, and
Okay.
yeah, so I love giving those tours, and I give tours
That's
to
so
middle
fun.
schools and families, and I've noticed that like
Mhm.
with the eighth graders, it's they all kind of have the same dull stare of, and they don't ever really. Uh, some of them do seem interested, so that is usually a highlight. But a lot of them, have that like early freshman mentality of just like, well, I don't want to really do that. So
Mhm.
I think getting them involved early is super important.
Yeah. I love that you're passionate about that, Connor. I think that's really important and to start agricultural education from a young age that can get them really hooked. But I mean, I can relate. Like, I was that freshman that was just kind of quiet and like kept to herself because it is a big transition. And I feel like that was a time in my life where I started to like second guess myself a lot. But when you can do those tours and show members something that they can be like passionate and grounded in, I think that can be life changing. So I commend you for that. It's good
Yeah,
work.
thank you. And yeah, just
Hmm.
that. Also, so also like this get talking to elementary schoolers, just like not like really, giving them the full like textbooks of it, or like not give them a full course, but like uh, so having like a little day or like a week where they learn about agriculture in like a science class or something like
Yeah,
that to at least maybe show them that like it's more than just farming because
right.
you know in my little like third grade science class, we went over agriculture, and I had no idea. I had no idea that it was agriculture. We went over aquaponics and hydroponics. So
Yep.
we had this hydroponic system in the classroom where we used fish to fertilize plants. I had no idea that was related to agriculture in any shape or form,
Hmm.
because no one told me. And
Yeah,
and eventually as I learned more, I was like, oh. And at Locust Race we have a hydroponic system, so like
that's
just
so
that
cool.
little like oh, or just being like
Yeah,
it's more than just farming.
right.
It's involved in everything pretty much.
It
Like
is.
one of the most like jobs that little kids say that they want to do, like being a veterinarian. That's
Right.
agriculture.
Right. Yeah. I think that's like directly connected to what we said we love about like Kentucky and Michigan because like when I see FFA, I see agriculture, but I also see natural resources and I also see food service because it all connects back, right? Like
Yeah,
if anybody eats, if they wear clothes, if they put gas in their cars, like it's all related to agriculture. So it's super important that we get people aware of that and careers that we never thought we knew,
yeah,
right? Like you can be a scientist in agriculture, you can be a communicator in agriculture, you could work boots on the ground, you could be a teacher in agriculture. So that is really
yeah.
cool.
Like there's so much to do, especially now as like technology progresses. Like drones in agriculture. One of
Yep.
my teachers, he's starting a new class this year, called Emerging Technology in Agriculture, uh,
Mhm.
where he goes over like drones and like the use of like coding in agriculture. So like using those drones for fertilization of crops and
Mhm.
pesticides disbursement and just using new technology for like agriculture and I just think
Mhm.
that's so cool that we can teach these things and just having because yeah, like I said, it's so much more than farming and so many
It
people
is.
don't know that.
Yeah. Comes in a lot of different
Yeah.
forms, that's for sure.
So what was I guess the most formative thing that has happened to you, that you've done or that you are currently doing or that you will do in FFA? Like what has I guess built you, what has given you the most character or development as, a person, an officer, as Lily?
Mhm. Boy, that's a good question. And I think there's a lot of little moments I can refer back to thinking of like, man, this moment really shaped me or this moment really shaped me. But I think back to an interview process I went through, to be honest, running for national office. So the first year I didn't get national office, obviously. And I think oftentimes we think a lot about our performance and like achieving something, but truly, I think that we have our absolute greatest potential when we step into who we're fully created to be, and give ourselves grace through that because we're all human. But I think it's so important to be authentic. And so my first year, they asked me a question on one of the final rounds and said, "To your core, who is Lily Nyland?" And I didn't really hesitate because I've practiced this before. I've practiced a lot of hours for these interviews, and so I threw out something like, "Man, I'm really grounded in my faith and my family, and like I love agriculture and I love youth." And I stepped out of that interview, um, thinking, "Is that who really makes me who I am?" While all those things are true, I'm like, "Is that really who I am?" And so I took a lot of time to think about like what makes somebody who they are, and why we are the way that we are, and like who I am and who I was created and designed to be. And so the next year, they asked me about the same question, and they said, "Lily, to your core, who are you?" And in that moment, I got to break down the walls of giving any prepared answer. and simply just be vulnerable with them, because I think the gateway to authenticity is vulnerability and just being super real. And so I got to tell them about some of my values and my experiences and moments that have shaped my life, and also how I live into those. I told them about my strengths, but I also told them about my weaknesses. And walking out of that interview, it didn't matter what happened after that, because I knew I'd showed up exactly who I was. And I just hope that I learned through that experience that the most important part isn't having the greatest performance or being the most successful person, but rather it's living into the person that you were created to be, and grabbing onto that grace that we can receive, because we need to give ourselves grace through those human moments. And stepping into who you're fully created to be helps you achieve your biggest potential. And so I think I've realized that a lot through FFA. Small examples from like picking a speech topic that feels authentic to you, um, picking a group of friends that you know is going to build you up, establishing values that's going to lead you to where you need to be. I think that because of my values is why I'm in agriculture. Agriculture is so deeply rooted in hard work, dedication, and community, and those are things that are really important for me. And so my message to FFA members, anybody in general life advice, is to know your values, know who you are, and fully step into those, because I truly believe that that will lead you to exactly where you need to be. And so hopefully this year, as I get to interact with FFA members, I'll be able to share that message and also just like inspire them to be their authentic selves, because it's the most important thing. And I really owe FFA a lot of thanks for showing me that at the end of the day, it's not about any performance or anything that you can do, but rather who you are.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because I've always prided this towards everyone being like, I always believe that someone giving their like not improv, but like an off the head answer to a question or
Mhm.
answering something not in a prepared way um, means so much more than if they give a like prepared answer because that's who they
Mhm.
truly are in a
Right.
way like that's who they are. They didn't have time to like run it through and be like, okay, what's optimal, I guess, or like
Mhm.
what's gonna make it sound the best. Just giving that
Yeah.
this is who I am
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just being
And I
like,
mean,
yeah,
I want to preface like it's always important to be professional. Of
yeah,
course, it's good to be
yeah,
polished for interviews, right? But that doesn't mean we can't be ourselves and share what's on our mind, because who knows? There might be somebody who's thinking the exact same thing and simply needed somebody to do it. So it kind of gives them permission to also be themselves. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's
and
good stuff.
something a question I haven't asked in a while, but I should probably ask more. But so through your life, and I guess even after this, what if you could have a motto for Lily Nyland, who you
Mhm.
are? Like, if you could stand up and say what phrase that you say or what phrase that like you've heard um, could describe what you believe in the most and what you choose to achieve the most in your life, what would that be?
Mhm. To be really honest, I make a my faith is super big in my life, because it's like the core of like
Yeah.
all the decision I make, and why I can find peace through hard situations. And so there's a verse that says, the light shines and the darkness cannot overcome it. I mean, for example, picture yourself, maybe you've been to you've been to probably National Convention
Mm-hmm.
before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so have you ever been there where, or even like a concert and it's like really dark in the room, but
Yeah.
everybody puts their phone flashlight
Mm-hmm.
on and suddenly the entire room is full of so much light? Um, for me, like, it's so cool to think that that light is going to overcome the darkness. Like, darkness can't overcome light. It's not possible. And so, just like those kids in Japan who are seeing the light or the good in that situation is going to override those dark moments. And we have to establish in our lives, like, where do we find that light, and how can we be that light for other people? And so like my motto of what I want to do is be a light to others, and where I find my joy in my life is rooted in my faith and who God has created me to be. And so um to be really honest, like that's really what guides me and is going to be a core motivation of everything I do, and hopefully students and everyone can find that light in their life as well.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, um, if I had to ascribe one to you, just from like everything I've seen and told.
Yeah.
You said this a lot in this little interview, but being your authentic self
Hmm.
and being that authentic self for not just yourself but for others, and
Hmm.
also I guess this all can tie into like being that light. I think the best way to be that light in someone else's life or be that light for those around you or even for yourself is
Hmm.
to be your authentic self, to be
Yeah.
who you are meant to be and not pretending to be someone else because you're nervous. Like it's
Hmm.
it's so so my band director always says this. He says that doing something when you don't want to do it or doing something when it's hard builds more character than doing stuff when it's easy.
Yeah. It's a good band director.
Yeah. He was also an FFA.
That's cool.
Yeah. So he helps me a lot with FFA stuff too. So I
Uh,
have like a basic little secondary advisor, if that makes sense. But
there you go. Yeah.
and I don't think those words have never rang true more to me than they do now because
Mm.
I'm a teenager. I'm in my sophomore year, and as I'm talking about that like freshman mentality, I'm not gonna lie and sit here and be like, yeah, I never had that. Of course I've had that.
Right. Right.
We've all been teenagers. We've all experienced that like little of, ugh, I don't want to get up in the morning, or I don't want to go to work, or I don't want to do this test. And being able to just stand there and or like, I don't really want to do this competition, but being able to like stand there and be like, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Um, but doing this will make I will be a better person doing this when I come out of it than I did going into it.
Right. I completely agree. I mean, I think it's finding those little pieces of light. Like what's
Yeah.
the light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a very powerful mentality, and I think that speaks to a lot of who you are, Connor, so I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
And just and also another one I guess is just taking that chance of just like of just don't knock it till you try it.
Right.
Like
That's good.
um my one of my advisors, Mr. Craig, the amazing Mr. Craig, uh, he last year he came up to me and said, "Hey, you're doing." So he's the ag mechanics teacher, so he does ag mechanics stuff, and he said, "Hey, you're gonna do the prepared public speech for ag mechanics for me," and uh,
Yes.
he didn't. He's one of those teachers that doesn't really give you an out in those situations, but
I've had it.
yeah,
I have a like
but
moment like that
those are
too.
always the best teachers, though. Like,
Yep.
cause I asked him about it, and he said he does this with a lot of the students that like um, he knows that can do it. So and as a sophomore, and as I've like gone closer with him, and as I've continued to have him and will have him because he's awesome, I've
Hmm.
noticed him doing that with other students. Like
That's great.
noticing that like so he has this quiz bowl team for not even a team, but the he always makes sure that his quiz bowls, the people that do the quiz bowls, are always freshmen or first years for his
Mm.
class. So because he wants them to get involved, and he knows that's like the easiest way.
Hmm.
So
That's cool.
and he loves getting them involved, and he loves being like, hey, uh, I know that it seems difficult, but um, here's an easy one to do to get into it. Here's do this, this, and this. It's gonna be easy. You don't even have to try that hard.
Mhm.
And if you don't do well in it, who cares? You tried. And
Right.
they do that, and I've so in my head, I have like these three main events that I think of when people ask me, what are the easiest events to do? Any quiz bowl, um, the Creed, because that's a very easy way to get involved. And then my favorite, parliamentary procedure, junior parliamentary procedure, because it's such an easy way to get involved into public speaking because
Hmm.
it's a team effort, it's a team sport.
Right.
Um, so you're not alone in speaking, and just
Yeah.
that introduction to doing it, just easy and it's
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah, no, that's good. From to be honest, from being involved later in FFA, I never did any one of those
Yeah,
contests, but I hear awesome things about them, and I mean they're all great skills that would have helped me and definitely will help students that are a part of them. So, good piece of advice.
but you're not here for not a reason, right? If that make so, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Uh, yes, even though you didn't have, that experience of doing those, you still gained those skills because you
Oh,
were
yes.
in. Yeah, because you were involved, and
Right.
you wouldn't be here without them, if that makes sense.
Most definitely. It
Yeah.
is incredible how FFA shapes our character and our skills and our talent. So, yes.
Pardon for drinking so much.
You're
Uh,
good. Me too. I got my water.
I have, I have, I used to, well, I still do. I'm not gonna act like I don't, but I have this crippling addiction to vanilla flavored Coke. Uh, um, like I probably drink it more than I probably should, but
That's funny. One of my teammates, T Wayne,
Yep.
he loves his Mountain Dew, and so you'll always catch him with a Mountain Dew.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I have a teammate like that, but
Yeah.
that's funny.
And
Cool.
so as I guess you may not be able to answer this question, but that's okay. I didn't expect you to. No offense, but when things are said and done, when you take off the jacket for the final time,
Hmm.
um, will you be satisfied with all that you have done, but or will you not be, if that makes sense?
Mm. I think I will. Um, what an incredible journey it's been, and like we talked about through this whole interview, it's brought me a lot of skills. It's changed my life for the absolute better, and I know that'll play a really big factor in the future. And everything happens for a reason too. Like even though there might have been contests that I wasn't I didn't win first place in, or there might have been contests where I did, like everything happens for a reason. It's truly shaped me into who the person I am today. And I owe it to FFA for getting me to where I am. It's given me so many connections with people across the world and changed my life for the better. And I truly believe that when FFA members lean into that, they can have that same experience. And so, 100%, I'll feel fulfilled and happy. And I can't wait for this rest of the year too. But adding on to that, like that moment, while that's the last moment I'll wear the blue jacket is on stage at national convention. That won't be the last interaction with FFA. I can be confident of that. And the community that will stick with you for years is always going to be there. And your opportunity to play a part in FFA members' lives as an alumni or even in the national FFA organization still will ring true. And so that won't be the end. It'll be a transition, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm forever grateful for my time in the blue jacket. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And as cheesy as it may sound, the blue jacket never really leaves you.
right.
Like I've always thought of it as uh, the when you put on the blue jacket, that changes nothing about you. You are the same person as you were as you put it on and as you take it off.
Hmm.
And
Exactly.
the only thing that's different is that you're wearing corduroy.
Hmm. I
And
mean, it's something that definitely unites us, right?
yeah,
Like we're privileged to be able to wear that and be a part of it. But the cool thing is that it doesn't change who we are. We're all the same. Well, we're all very
yeah,
different and the same in some aspects under the jacket, but it's a tool that brings us closer together, but it doesn't define you.
yeah. And it's yes, it's a symbol of, I guess. I've always seen it as like a symbol of a journey, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
your journey through high school or your journey through your beginning in agriculture. Maybe
Yep.
you stick with it and you become, working in agriculture and whatever that field for you is, or maybe you don't. But you still have those experiences. You
Hmm.
still have those leadership. You still have those being able to talk in front of people. You still have that friends that you've made. You still have those events. You still have those awards. You still have
Hmm.
everything that you gained when you take it off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Most definitely. I
Yeah.
agree. That's so good.
Well, that's the end.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks